Miss, Mrs., Ms., ma'am, madam. How should I address a woman in English? In our daily lives, we usually just use people's first names. So if you have a friend, neighbor, or coworker named Sarah, call her Sarah. But what if she's older than you? Call her Sarah. But what if she's younger than you? Call her Sarah. But what if she's your manager? Call her Sarah. But what if you want to show her that you really respect her? Call her Sarah. But what if you want to let her know that you really care about her? Call her Sarah. But what if she asks you to call her something different? Call her what she asks you to call her. If she asks you to call her by her first name, but you keep calling her ma'am or madam or miss because you're not comfortable using her first name, you are being disrespectful. You are ignoring her request and showing her that you don't care how it makes her feel. So it's really simple. Talk to women the same way that you talk to men. 99% of the time, just use their first name. If they ask you to call them something different, call them what they ask you to call them. And if you know that they prefer to be addressed by a different title, such as doctor or senator, then clearly use that title. But let's talk a little bit about Miss, Mrs., Ms., ma'am, and madam. Miss was traditionally used for girls and young unmarried women. In the southern part of the United States, many people still use Miss when they don't know a young woman's first name. However, in other parts of the country, it is not so common. So if you're walking down the street in the South and you see that a young woman has dropped her money, you might say, "Excuse me, miss, you dropped your money." But in most places, we would just say, "Excuse me, you dropped your money." This is the 21st century, and neither her age nor her gender is important. In fact, many women would actually find it rude and disrespectful if you called them miss. Then we have Mrs. and Ms. The pronunciation of these terms is different in different countries and in different regions. So our focus today is not on the pronunciation. Our focus is on when we use them. Traditionally, when a woman got married and changed her last name to her husband's last name, she would then become Mrs. followed by her husband's last name. So if Sarah Johnson married Steve Dingle, she would become Mrs. Dingle. And this is still common nowadays. But how do you know if she is married or if she has taken her husband's last name? Don't worry about it. Call her by her first name, unless she tells you to call her something different. But what if I'm writing a formal email? Well, if you're writing an email, do some research and find out what they prefer to be called. Or use Ms. followed by their last name. While Ms. was traditionally used for unmarried women, nowadays it is used for all women, married and unmarried. Ms. followed by her last name is usually the best choice when you feel like you need to be formal, but you're not sure if she's married or unmarried, or you're just not sure what she prefers. Again, this is the 21st century, and a married woman is not better or more important than an unmarried woman. Many women choose to use Ms. instead of Mrs., even though they are married, because whether or not a woman is married is her personal business, and it's not important in the workplace or anywhere. Finally, let's talk about ma'am and madam. Ma'am is a lot like miss. However, whereas miss is usually used for younger women, ma'am is usually used for older women. And while you will hear ma'am in every state, this is another term that is much more common in the southern part of the United States. Traditionally, many people in the South have been taught that you should call any older man that you don't know sir, and any older woman that you don't know ma'am. And even if they do know them, they still often use sir and ma'am. However, I don't recommend using ma'am, because for many women, when they hear ma'am, what they actually hear is you look old. Many other women will understand that you are trying to be polite, and they will appreciate it. However, you don't know which women will appreciate it and which women will be offended by it, so it's better to just not use it. And in the UK, it's a little bit different, because in the UK, ma'am is only used for the Queen. In the UK, they actually use madam, the same way that we use ma'am in the US. So let's do a really quick summary. If you know a woman's name, use her name. If you don't know a woman's name, ask her what her name is. If you use her name and she asks you to call her something different, call her what she asks you to call her. When writing an email to a coworker, use her first name. When writing a formal email, use Ms. followed by her last name, unless you know that she prefers Mrs. And finally, don't call anyone ma'am or madam unless you know that they want you to, or your company requires you to. Also, I'm sure that a few native English speakers will find this video and have some different views on some of the terms. That's fine. This is not a guide for native English speakers. This is just a short video to help English learners understand the basics and avoid creating uncomfortable situations. Thank you for watching.